But then I listened to Jurgen Klopp's BBC Radio 5 live interview, and he spoke about the way Liverpool do things differently. We're a different club, and hence the title of tonight's stream. He said we're not a club run by oligarchs, we're not a club run by countries, and he name-dropped Chelsea as a club that have gone out there and spent a lot of money in this window. But he also made the point that I've been making to you guys all along, that Chelsea are going to have to make sure that those players gel, hence the reason I don't think that Chelsea are going to be challenging for the league title this season. Certainly, I think they will improve and they'll be closer to us, but I don't really see them challenging. I still think it's a two-horse race. But I want to know what your take is on this, ladies and gentlemen. How are you feeling about the transfer window? A lot of people said to me, Craig, just chill, man, calm down. There's plenty of time in the window. Liverpool have till October 5th to get it done, and be patient. And I'm happy to take back any feedback like that, and I'm happy to come on here and have an open conversation about it, because, you know, what I say, I'm not somebody coming on here claiming to have all the knowledge. I'm just a fan. I keep saying that to everyone. I'm just a fan. Right, will FSG ever sell our club to some rich owners? Said Chimney Joshi, and thank you for the super chat, mate. The words of Ian Ayre keep coming to me in these scenarios, mate, is in be careful what we wish for. Will they ever sell the club? Yes, of course they will. They are in it for the medium to long term, probably. They have been willing, they've said that they're willing to take on a partner who will be a minority investor in the club. We spoke about Billy Bean on last night's stream, and the fact that you probably recognise the name Billy Bean from the whole Moneyball thing with the Oakland Athletics and baseball. He's obviously quite friendly with John W. Henry, and he's put together a package of about £500 million, I think, to invest in the club, and maybe he buys a stake in Liverpool, and maybe that'll free up some cash. But with regards to the owner selling, I don't think that's on the cards anytime soon. They had a couple of offers, I believe, over the last year or two. At least a couple of people flirted with the option of buying the club, and there seemed to be no interest in selling from the owners. And look, that's sound. We are where we are. I think the owners are good owners, but this particular window, I think, has caused Liverpool fans more frustration than any window I can remember in recent years. And a lot of us are just confused, I suppose, because there are clubs out there who are spending money, but they're spending money that they're borrowing, whereas Liverpool's finances seem to be pretty healthy, and we go about running a club in a specific way within our means. It's not sexy. That's not what we want to hear. It's not Chelsea out there dropping 150, 200 mil, but it is what it is, and we are where we are. And my main priority in all of this is that the manager's happy, that the manager understands what he's working with, that the manager's not being frustrated, and that he's not getting players or going for players and being told no. The Werner thing seems to be an anomaly in this one, and I just wonder what the real reasoning behind it was, because if publicly we're being told that the money would be there for the right player, I genuinely can't see why Werner wasn't done. But like, maybe somebody has more info on that than I do, or maybe I'm missing something really obvious there. Chris Short said the best thing Liverpool can do is get rid of the stupid media watch part of the website. It's just sprouts tripe. Man, do you know what? It just drives clicks. That's all it is, really. Whatever website it is, whether it's the BBC one, whether it's Liverpool one, the Echo one, whether it's us on YouTube or any other channel, it just drives clicks, and transfers are sexy, and it makes people interested, it makes people emotional, and it brings people to their sites in a time, I suppose, where all clubs are trying to generate as much traffic as possible, and all sites are trying to generate as much traffic as possible. So I guess it's just a case of needs must with regards to stuff like this. I think the owners are good, could be better, said Hexboom. Carl said, I don't want rich owners, we're a real club, not fake like Manchester City. Yeah, there is that. I mean, I don't want somebody... I think the way that we've won the league, and the way that we've won the European Cup, and the way that we've gone about our business has been phenomenal, if I'm being honest with you. If you could have... You know, we won the league the right way. We won the European Cup the right way. And that's great. And that makes us all really happy, which is, again, a confusing time, because I'm still going to be honest and say I still feel a little bit frustrated, and I know I'm not alone in that. But I wouldn't swap winning the Champions League and the Premier League the way we won it for having owners that just come in with a blank checkbook. I mean, we can really enjoy this Premier League title knowing that there's nothing anybody can say or do to try and undermine it for us. Whereas if we had sugar daddy owners that just threw money at the club, we would probably... It would be against the ethos of what we stand for, and it would be against the way we go about things. So I do kind of agree. I mean... And do you know what? What's really difficult about this as well is we haven't kicked a ball yet. We haven't kicked a ball yet. And we didn't sign anybody last summer. Obviously a couple of youngsters, but we went out and won the league. And Jurgen Klopp will make the players better, I've no doubt in that, but we have to touch on the fact that we finished the season quite poorly. Pre-season been a bit of a mixed bag. Brought through some good players like Takumi Minamino, who's starting to show promise. Naby's picked up in pre-season as well. Raheem Brewster got himself 3 goals in pre-season, so there are some bright sparks in there. It's not all negativity, but it's just difficult when we can look at the team and our first 11 is as good as anyone's in the world. Anyone's. Put them up against anybody and we've got a fighting chance of winning that game. But if we had an injury to Virgil, if we had an injury to Bobby or to Mo or to Sadio that kept them out for 4 to 6 months, let's say they had a Leroy Sané type injury, that would put us up shit creek. It really would, and there's nobody that can tell a genuine Liverpool fan, not a genuine Liverpool fan, a sensible Liverpool fan otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, and that glaring omission is there. But they can kind of play off that by saying, well, it has to be a player that's ready for the first team. Well, there's very few of them out there in the price range that we're talking about. So there are some gems to be unearthed, and Klopp will probably unearth those gems. But it's a little bit contradictory. You hear him, there's money there. You hear him if it's for the right player. You hear him, it has to be somebody that'll come in and break into the first 11 and play 30 games. Well, how are they going to do that when our first 11 is pretty set? It is difficult. As I said, there's loads of games though. There's 65 games or so in a season. What's happening with Brewster, said Tiernan Downey. Mate, this is the one that's upset me the most in this entire transfer window, if I'm being honest. The thoughts of having to potentially sell Raheem Brewster does my head in. And I was chatting with somebody on Twitter about this earlier on. You know, I'm always happy to take feedback. And he said that I'm basically dismissing Harry Wilson, but yet Raheem Brewster didn't exactly light up the championship, and I beg to differ. Raheem Brewster is 3 years younger than Harry Wilson. Raheem Brewster scored 11 goals in 21 or 22 games for Swansea at the end of a very difficult championship season, and you know, the championship season I think is a 46 game season, so if he was there for the entire season, you know, double that up, he would have got over 20 goals and had a very good season. And I don't think, if my memory is right, that Wilson was exactly lighting up the championship with Derby, and he certainly didn't do it that well in the Premier League with Bournemouth. So I think it's unfair of him to compare the two, because Brewster quite frankly hasn't been given the opportunities yet that Wilson has had. From what I've read today, there's no new news with regards to Brewster potentially being sold, and I wondered, was that maybe the club's PR team just kind of dipping their toes in the water to see how Liverpool fans would react to it? Yeah, you can talk about the sell-on clause, and we put that, I think, in Camacho's deal as well when he left the club. But it just feels like it would be a cheapskate way of trying to free up money, and it would undermine the belief that Jurgen Klopp has instilled in Raheem Brewster, that he is part of Liverpool's future going forward. I just don't like the idea of it. Loan him out by all means, but it just doesn't sit well when we're talking about selling Brewster. Hexboom said Brewster was fantastic for Swansea. Sam said, Craig, to be honest, Adrian had quite a strong pre-season. Yeah, look, Adrian is going to be our backup keeper. There's not really much to be said about that one as things stand. And Loris Karius is going to be moved on as soon as the club can find somewhere for him to go. You can see he didn't get a minute in pre-season, Loris Karius, so you can see straight away there what the plan seems to be is that he has no future at the club. I've said this all along. People have been saying, why can't we have him as the backup? I think it's just the ship has sailed for Loris Karius, and I hope and wish the lad well wherever he ends up. But as things stand right now, the pecking order is Alisson, Adrian, Quivi and Kelleher. That seems to be the way it is at the club. Right, so Calcio Mercato in Italy believe that Liverpool, Juventus and Manchester City are all interested in Wolves' Adama Traore, but are being put off by the proposed £63 million price tag. They go on to say that his agent, Jorge Mendes, or George Mendes, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce that, is trying to get that price lowered and secure his player a move. So let's wait and see what happens on this one, but I'm not going to hold my breath that Liverpool are going to get Adama Traore in this window, ladies and gentlemen. But it is mentioned out there, and he is somebody that Jurgen Klopp obviously has spoken about before as being almost unplayable on his day. And it doesn't surprise me that his agent is trying to get a move for the player, because he's had a fantastic season there with Wolves, and you can see what the lad's about. You can see how good he is. But at 63 million, I think he's not there yet for me. I think if that price was lowered to somewhere between 40 to 50, probably more realistic for Adama. In my opinion, I had seen prices going up like double what's been mentioned there as well, which was absolutely nuts. What happened, Werner? It's hard to think Traore is realistic, said Channy Deep. I don't think Traore is realistic, mate. I don't. I'm just reporting on it because Calcio Mercado put it out there. And this is one of them that I think we can file in the not going to happen pile. But again, there's slim pickings with regards to transfers right now.